An uncomplicated gestation resulted in the first cloned camel.
An uncomplicated gestation resulted in the first cloned camel. China's been cloning hundreds of pigs a year since 2014.
Using domestic dogs as a surrogate, coyotes were cloned in
2011, Dr. Wu-Suk-Hwan created 8 coyotes by fusing coyote DNA with eggs of domestic dogs. He then implanted the embryos in a surrogate dog, and the perfectly cloned coyotes were eventually born. Hwan would later go on to use this research to create sci-fi, a lab that creates cloned dogs, producing more than 600 clones throughout its years in operation. Most of these dogs are created from the DNA of deceased pooches, and paid for by bereaved owners hoping to resurrect fallen pets. You can clone your canine companion after death as well. That is, if you have a cool 0 to spare.
a horse is a horse, of course, even if it's a clone.
In 2003, scientists cloned a horse for the first time, a female named Prometheus. Her name was taken from the Prometheus, the figure from Greek myth that brought fire to mankind. The process for cloning the creature was not at all certain to produce results. Scientists used over 800 eggs that yielded just 17 embryos, with just one creating a cloned horse. Ultimately, the scientists thought that their cloning technique could be used to clone racehorses.
The world can have enough European Mouflons.
While scientists had been cloning sheep and monkeys for a while, it took until 2001 to clone the first endangered animal. That's when a European Mouflon, it's a tiny sheep that lives on Sardinia, Corsica, and Cyprus, was cloned by scientists. The cloning technique was the same as with Dolly, but scientists used a different breed of sheep other than the Mouflon as the surrogate mother, showing that if they wanted to bring back an extinct animal, it was technically possible.
Nothing to see. Just printing monkeys over here.
Monkeys provide not only the enjoyment of watching them frolic in the jungle, but also of being a close genetic relative to humans. That's why the news that a rhesus monkey named Tetra was so welcome. The news of the clone in 2000 led scientists to say that they could clone identical individuals for experiments. By using animals with the same genes in testing, the results would be more consistent and easier to interpret.
They've even cloned a wolf. Don't tell Liam Neeson.
In 2007, scientists in South Korea announced that they had cloned a gray wolf. While this might seem like some kind of evil plot by a James Bond villain, in reality it shows that the science of cloning may undo some of mankind's greatest mistakes. Some species of wolves are extinct, endangered, or at risk of becoming endangered because of their dwindling populations. The advancement by scientists in South Korea show they can bring back species that are at risk. Sit, cloned doggy. Sit, good cloned doggy. Oh dear, yes, they cloned that too. Even cloned cows say moo.
Here cloned kitty, kitty, kitty.
Here cloned kitty, kitty, kitty.
A first cloned fish emerged in 1963.
A first cloned fish emerged in 1963.
Say aloha to Cumulina the cloned mouse from Hawaii.
Say aloha to Cumulina the cloned mouse from Hawaii.
Dolly was the most famous clone, but not the first.
Perhaps the most famous sheep of all time, Dolly caught the public's imagination in 1996 when she was born in Scotland. Dolly was the first ever mammal cloned by using a cell from another adult. This was especially important because scientists doubted that it was even possible to do that. Her name even reflects the unique way she was created. The cells the sheep was cloned from came from a mammary gland, so naturally she is named after Dolly Parton. However, Dolly wasn't the first sheep cloned. There was a sheep clone born in the 1980s named Morg, however. It was created using embryonic cells. Dolly lived out her days at the Roslin Institute, where she was born till her death in 2003.
The first cloned animal was actually a sea urchin cloned in 1885.
Yes, cloning actually began over a century ago. The first cloned animal was not the famous Dolly the sheep, but a sea urchin that was successfully cloned in 1885. The clone actually came about by accident when a scientist split apart the cell of a sea urchin. The hypothesis was that each half of the cell contained about half the genetic information of a sea urchin, and scientists expected to end up with two separate halves of a sea urchin. Imagine their surprise when both cells formed full-bodied urchins.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.